Thank you. Thank you so much for
Welcome.
having me here. Hi, guys. My name is Murugi Muni. I am a content creator, an entrepreneur, a podcaster, and I am a co-parenter as well. I am in a blended family. I am married with 3 children, the first of which is the one who I co-parent with his father. So I'm really excited to be on the podcast. I love what you're doing with the podcast.
Thank you.
It's really interesting to see a stepmom's perspective because I co-parent with my son's father, but sometimes I even forget the fact that he has a partner who is the stepmom to my child, and I never think about it that way until when now I actually listen to your podcast and I'm like, oh, so this is how they are feeling on that other side. It's really nice. Yeah, you're creating content that matters, so thank you.
I've been judged. It's
You
okay.
know.
It's okay. It's okay. But
Yeah,
we take care of the children
you
well.
know,
There are positive
exactly.
examples of stepmom. We need to break that narrative, the evil stepmom. I know it came from somewhere.
Yeah.
Because at some point, it's
Yeah,
not easy to
exactly.
raise someone else's
Yeah.
children. But we're in 2024.
Yeah, please.
Blended families
Honestly.
they're going to happen.
Yeah.
Divorces nowadays, this generation, they're not going to suffer in silence. If it's not working, it's not what.
Yeah,
It's
in
not
fact, too
working.
much so, because right now our generation, any small issue like this, by the way, I don't have to be here. People have broken the marriage because of a tiny thing. Yeah,
they have to think about it deeper, a bit deeper.
You must.
Yes,
Yeah.
because we have children here.
Yeah.
So Morugi came to this episode why I thought she was going to be an appropriate guest is because she co-parents, like she mentioned. I personally, I have never co-parented. There's parallel parenting and co-parenting. I have never co-parented with my own stepkids because it was just me and my husband. We had full custody. So I've always thought, for me, my perspective has always been, if I had someone to co-parent with, for example, I had in your case, another woman to co-parent with, it would make life easier for me. Number one, we would be able to agree or what are your hard no's, because I would actually like an introduction. When men are not good at handover. A man meets you, says, hi, how are you? Have 4 children. Come, we go down the aisle. Here they are. No one has handed me over the children. They've not told me even their birthdays, what they like, whatever food they like, what used to be their tradition. So I see how I can be able to meet them in the middle, because then we're forming a new family. But at the end of the day, we know that children want their mom and dad. And definitely they have their own family, their own rules, their own tradition. Some you can change, but some you can't. For example, if I had my kid's mom tell me, I'm very passionate about this certain church or this certain school, I'll be, okay, we can change everything else, but we keep that. Because the change is too much for the children. So I feel co-parenting is something that would have made it easier for me to create to blend the family.
Yeah, I find that so interesting because I've never actually thought about it that way. I feel like co-parenting is more something that I have to do, I need to do in this situation, as opposed to like, this is the best case scenario. So it's so interesting to hear you say, oh, you actually wish that other person had been able to hand over, because in my view, actually, there are so many complexities that because of your situation of not having to co-parent, you have avoided, actually, because you see in your mind, in fact, in your mind, I think it's more romanticized than what you imagine, because this one of someone saying, oh, this is the way that the kind of church we like to go to, what if it's the exact opposite of the kind of church you would want to go to?
And it's okay, because you've brought your children to me. At the end of the day, we don't have to go to the same church. If you value, let's say you're a Catholic, they did baptism there, they did confirmation. What does it cost me for the child to go to church on Sunday in that church? I can go to another one and the father can take.
What if you're a strong atheist?
That's okay. You see, it doesn't matter here. It's not about me. It's about the child. You see, we have to be adult about it and separate it. If you tell me you want your child to go to this type of school because you value that, you value education, you and your partner value education, I know, okay, in my priority, education comes first. This kind of school, this is what you want. Handover is important. Think about it. You're giving someone the office. There's no handover notes. Don't forget, when it comes to disciplining, the men don't watch on the children as much. Men are always a good cop.
Always a good cop.
So you tell me, I've observed something at home and I think I want you to investigate for me. Our interest is the same. We want the child to grow up, do well in life, go and have his own life so that we can have freedom. So our interests are the same.
Yeah.
So why can't we just do this thing and do a good job? Tuchape kazi, fanya kazi mzuri,
you know.
watoto watuondokee, tuanze kuishi.
Now you see, that is a very idealistic way of thinking of how co-parenting works, because we co-parent very peacefully with my my ex and his partner. However, it doesn't work like that the way you're saying, because there's an extent to which me as his primary mother, not to say that as the stepmother they have less, there's the primary mother and the stepmother, exactly. And in our case, we have custody, but it's like more like shared custody. So he spends half the holiday there, half the holiday with us. He spends some weekends there. We have child support payments. We have like half school fees is paid. Half if I need to buy anything, we'll split everything exactly half. Even if it's a pair of shoes, it'll be exactly half how much that pair of shoes is. Exactly. However, I think there's an extent to which her and I, now my co-parent on that side, who is my ex's partner, we don't infringe. We speak once in a while, but it's never with regards to this is what I would prefer you to do in your home. So there's just like what I have in my home and what you have in your home. And I personally would never even try to prescribe of like, when Ethan is at your house, Ethan is my son, and he's 13 years old for context. When he's at your house, I would prefer that he doesn't do X and Y and Z, because that I've found sometimes can cause a clash between how then they're able to parent my son and their other two sons, because they have two sons. Similarly, even when my ex, if he came and told me, even when he comes to your house, I prefer if he goes to sleep at 9 p.m. No. Me, what happens in my house with me and my children is just on me and my children. If it's something which is so life-changing and catastrophic, like for example, I've noticed he's allergic to mushrooms, that one we can communicate so that you know that in your house, do not feed him mushrooms. They will not feed him mushrooms. Yes. Yeah. So in an ideal situation, handover inaweza kuwa poa, but in reality, I don't know how many times that actually happens.
Imagine it does. Hapa ndio Wakenya mnafahamu step up. In the first place, let me say for me, sikujiita huko. I was called by someone. Whoever called me.
Lakini ulikubali? No one forced you into the situation.
No one forced me, lakini mimi nimesema tu handover notes. And then, a breather, that's another thing. I would love a breather too. Si leo tu wende kwa mama kwa hata 1 week. I would love a breather for me. A breather is important. You see, those are the benefits of co-parenting.
Yeah.
I want a breather. And to breathe. Now, I cannot, and I'm not able to say that. And if I say it, it will come out like you're tired of us.
Yeah, but sometimes people are allowed to get tired as moms. You're allowed to get tired, aren't you?
If they don't have anywhere to go. So think about it. They're home 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So I don't get to breathe. I don't get to have a breather.
And that is the concept of motherhood. Motherhood is relentless.
Yes.
Whether or not it has been thrust upon you or you're the one who gave birth to the kids yourself.
But I wouldn't mind saying, this weekend is your weekend. I wouldn't mind. But also there's another aspect of it. People forget that there is that space that a bio parent has. No matter how much I love my stepchildren, I will not feel that space. I can tell you, I've done it for 17 years. I see it in my children's eyes. Bio parent, there's just a special place. Have a relationship with your child. Actually, if you ask me, not even money. It's okay, I'll do 100%. Emotionally.
Yeah.
Let that child know my mother loves me, my father loves me, my mother is there, my father is there. I can go visit. Even if they go and they say, okay, I've gone there for 48 hours, I've come back home. Just let that child know that I'm loved. I get what you mean. As I get older, it's confusing. Definitely, clarity will be required.
Yeah.
And when you go there, the house rules apply. But if you do not have that bio parent love and attention, I see it with my children. I see it in their eyes. Sometimes I just want to beg, please.
And now there's nothing that you can
do.
There's
nothing you can do.
I feel like I'm inclined to agree with you, but I think I was saying to you before the episode started is that, so my son has me, his biological mother, he has his biological father who loves him to death, really, really loves him. Then he has his stepdad, who is my husband, and his stepmom, who is my ex's partner. And I mean, because the only situation I have known is one where he is loved by both parents, by all 4 parents, and he really seems to thrive in that. Just like, I have this family, I have my other family. Like now over Easter, he was with his other family. So for us, me, obviously, I'm just feeling like, I'm so sad that he's not able to create memories with us this Easter. But I'm so happy that he's able to create memories with his other family. And I love that. And I do feel like there's a very special role that biological parents play in a child's life. But I feel like if someone is watching and they have a toxic, the father of the child is toxic, it's
not
better
that
to
one.
have it's better to
Not
have
that one,
a non-biological person who loves
loves
the
the
child than
child.
the biological person just because you happen to be the one who sired the child. But in the ideal situation, I wish more people, like you were saying, more people were able to put aside their feelings and just, we all love this child. We came together in that moment when we were making the child. We obviously were very connected, which is how the child
Which is very
came about.
connected. And now, like
Exactly.
you don't want to look at each other. Please, the people who made this human, can you
guys just
parent?
exactly.
Can you, and see, from as a stepmom, that's maybe why you're thinking it's the idealistic. I'm the neutral party. So I see from outside.
Yeah.
I'm very neutral.
Without the emotions
Without
and
the
heaviness
emotions and
and
without the heaviness, because I don't have memory. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everyone's side of the story. Everyone has their story.
That's the thing.
So I'm very practical.
Yeah.
And I come into this picture, I'm expecting the practicality to apply.
But
Okay?
it doesn't.
But it doesn't. You see. So
juu mambo ya roho inakwanga complicated sana.
hapana, hakuna mambo ya roho.
Inakuanga
Mulishatwa mtu na
complicated.
kichwa kubwa na miguu na mkono. That is where you release the complication.
Honestly, yeah. But I feel like I empathize with how difficult sometimes it can be to be like, you look at this person and I really thought that we were going to be forever and things didn't work out. And I do feel like time is a factor.
Oh, time is a factor.
Time definitely helps. I remember when we first started co-parenting. So my son was born 2010. We broke up 2014. But by the time we had like about a year where it was just still very difficult for us to co-parent.
That one is allowed.
Yeah, it's allowed. But I don't know if this, I guess fortunately for us, around the same time, he got into a relationship, which is the one he's in now, and I got into a relationship. And I feel like once now the two parties have found others.
You buffered. You see, they buffered.
That's the thing. And now once it's just like, it's not painful for me to look at you because me, I found my love and you have found yours. So now it's easier for us to be able to come together. I feel like it's really difficult sometimes in situations where maybe your partner has moved on immediately, that you guys broke up, and then now you're like, okay, you still want me to co-parent, and you're now staying with this other woman who is in your home, and now you want me to come there every day to look at her and remember how I was rejected. That can be really difficult.
Lakini wacha niletua Kenya leo. Kila mtu ako na ex.
Yeah,
hakuna mtu ana ex. Mwenye ako na ex na mtoto ni alifanya you know, I always say, and I keep on joking with my husband, you know, you didn't need to write I was there. Shule tulikuwa dogo tunaandika I was here.
I was here.
Yeah, tulikuwa tunaandika kwa bathroom I was here. Sasa because mlisema I was here.
Yeah.
Let us bring logic. And I say, for me, from my perspective as stepmom, I just want logic. I know the first 3 years, but there's never logic.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't even call the parent. It's me and the child.
Yeah.
I say, this is what should happen. After a few years, please. Now, children are graduating. Children are getting married. Children, you know, at some point, this co-parenting has to happen.
I can't believe you have children even who are that
Mine have already graduated. Now I'm waiting for the wedding.
We are looking forward to it.
Yes, and you know, you have to behave. It is just 24 hours. You're not going to tell the school now, Ethan is going to graduate on this day, and then the dad is going to go on this day.
Yeah. You just have to, yeah.
So we see the co-parenting, and for me, this episode is just to let people know you don't know the importance of co-parenting. And I know it's painful, like you said, but because we're here, can we do the best for this
now
child?
That we're here, now since we're here.
And you can imagine if this child doesn't succeed, it's whose problem?
Yeah, ours. Mine.
It's ours.
Yeah.
And most people know it is the women. It is our problem.
Yeah.
So it is in our interest for this child to succeed.
You're right.
And go make something out of themselves. And I know it's not easy, but trust me, it can be done.
It absolutely can be done.
I think millennials can co-parent, don't you think?
We definitely
our parents
can,
couldn't.
Yeah.
Do you think our parents could?
I don't think so. In fact, I don't think it was the norm. Now, I feel like among millennials, there are so many people who have children outside of marriage that most of us literally have no choice but to co-parent. Because one, a lot of people might not even know this, but it is illegal for you to be like, because you've broken up with someone, you're going to now keep them away from their father, or they're going to keep them away from their mother. That is illegal, because that child is equal parts you and equal parts them. Yeah. So legally, and even just for the sake of the emotional, physical, mental development.
There's financial abuse nowadays.
Hello, excuse me, actually, yeah,
there's
there
financial abuse.
Yeah, there
when you let one parent do everything 100%, and it's not that you you're disabled.
Yeah.
It's not that you can't. You can contribute the little that you have.
Exactly.
But when you give one parent the burden, you're financially abusing that
Exactly.
parent.
Actually, you are. And I wish more people knew that there are resources that they can tap into to be able to create a positive co-parenting environment. So for us in 2016, when I met my husband, and we were then he was my boyfriend, but we were about to get married, it was really important for me that we have a legal agreement.
Good.
Which outlines exactly what we are supposed to be doing. And so we consulted a lawyer, and he told us about this thing called a parental responsibility agreement. Yeah. So you sign it, basically just it'll outline how much are you supposed to pay child support, how many weekends, who has custody, what do we do in case of insurance, what about if someone is traveling, what happens in, for school holidays, things like that. Anything, literally anything to the very last dot of everything that happens to this child. We outlined there. I took some negotiation back and forth, like about 6 months of negotiation of like this much. Okay, no, then I want this weekend. I want this. Okay, if you get Christmas, I get Easter. Then you get New Year's and whatever. But eventually, that document that we signed in 2017, which was just before my husband and I got married, has been so instrumental in helping us co-parent effectively. Because now there's no guessing. Yeah, exactly. There's no guessing. It's that I know this weekend is your weekend. Every other weekend is his weekend. So I'm just like, I know. There's no now at start saying, no, I've decided my feelings. I'm angry and now you don't. There's nothing like feelings, because this is a legal document that somebody can take me to court for.
And take you to court.
So there's no at whatever. I know on the 5th, I expect a payment which comes into my account. On this day when I tell you I've paid school fees. Yeah. On this day when school fees.
The bazaar. I want to see the share of the bazaar.
There you go.
Does the bazaar, now you see, these are the things, the co-parenting. Now, if you didn't do that legally, how were you supposed to even make sure that that is implemented? So most people need to understand, when you remove the feelings, then you put the law, it's even better. You're doing yourself
for you.
more justice. And how has it been for Ethan with the co-parenting? What do you think? For me, I'm here thinking, the child and romanticizing it.
Exactly.
But I feel it makes the child whole. How has it been for him?
So it has been, I would say it's been a really positive journey, because we've been co-parenting since he was 6 years old. And when he's younger, now he's 13, but when he was younger, he used to be very vocal and very proud about the fact that I have 2 dads, may have 2 families. When we have birthdays, I'm going to have a birthday party here and I have another birthday party there. So he really likes it. And one thing that I like is that I feel like I see a security in him that I see many people don't have, because he is shown love by so many people that there's no way that he can doubt that he is loved. Now, the older he gets, the more a few challenges crop up. So for example, you see how, like, let's say in the our agreement, it says half the holiday you're here, half the holiday you're there. Now he's gotten to an age where he's able to be like, oh no, I want to stay longer here. Or, oh, I don't want to go to this house this weekend, even though I'm supposed to. Yeah,
he's made friends on both sides of the family.
On that side of his family, he has 2 brothers. In our house, he has 2 sisters. So sometimes he's just like, these ones are disturbing. He's like, oh, I want to go to my dad's house this weekend. So of course now as a parent, sometimes you're feeling bad. You're like, guys,
and Miss Kwambia mtoto, it's not you. It's now the child is making the choice.
Exactly, I've decided, or maybe they have friends. He has friends there which they have decided they're going to go where this weekend. So of course he'll want to. But one thing I'm really grateful for is, among us 4 parents, we are all pretty level-headed people, and we'd love to give him that opportunity to be like, you have a say in what happens, and where you get to be. If you're more comfortable somewhere, you can. If you want to have a conversation with someone, you can. And of course now even he's going through this phase of puberty. He's starting to become a man. Exactly. So now it's just like he can talk to this dad about these things. If he wants, he can talk to the other dad and what. So it's been actually quite positive. And the most important thing I would say to people who are co-parenters is keeping communication lines open with your child, so that if anything happens, you can always come and tell me. I always tell him when he comes back from there, it's just like, oh, did anything happen?
And it's not gossip.
Gossip, just communication.
It's just communication.
Conversation.
And the child will know that, in mama's house, we wash dishes, we do this, in this house we do that. So it's not gossip. That's the thing, yeah.
And most times it works positively. You know how you were saying you'd have wanted handover and say, oh, us in our house we do this, us in our house we don't do this. There are times where it's like we have differing values. But you see, sometimes it's like you can't overstep. Like, for example, my son got a phone, I think, when he was like 11, but my husband had only wanted him to get a phone when he was like 15.
That's my fight. Those are my fans.
But now it was like, what are we going to do? We can't now. They are also equally parents. So if they have decided they want to gift their son a phone,
but the phone stays there. So it doesn't come this way with the phone.
So some now, you see, I was like, I don't want to be petty and be like, you can't come with it. But you see, when he comes to our place, we take it and we have rules. Yeah, exactly. And just be like, you only have it for 2 hours a day between this time and this time or whatever. But now we can't now tell them. So in your house, you need to start putting a rule where we can't do that.
We can't do that. You can't overstep because they have their own rules.
That is the thing. And that is also how they parent their other kids. And we can't now step into that. Do you see what I mean?
I see
and
what
actually,
you
there's some
mean.
Complexities.
There's some complexities. Okay, at least today I can... but I still stand. Co-parenting can be done. And I see how...
yeah, definitely.
Like, Ethan, you know what you're doing? Like, for us when we were young, we were raised by a village. So you might not be able to tell your mom something, but I'll go tell my mom's sister, I'll go tell my auntie, I'll go tell my cousin. Now, in this modern time, every family on their own.
Exactly.
So you can imagine Ethan has options. I can go speak to this one. I can go speak to that. Do you see if Ethan, you are not co-parenting, do you see how much Ethan would lose?
You're right.
Because Ethan learns different things from different people. Do you see how much that child is losing? I know it gets tricky. It gets tricky having to explain. I have 2 moms. You know, for sure.
Exactly.
Yes, 2
or
moms.
Like which one? Sometimes when I go for teachers for events, it's like I've come with this dad. The next time it's another dad. They're like, Kwani, what?
You see, before people, but over time, it becomes very, very clear.
Yeah.
Even Ethan will say, I want my dad, this dad to come, I want this one. And you realize it has nothing to do with them. It's how he connects with all of them. Maybe with your partner, they connect maybe physically, they do sports together, they travel. This other partner, they connect in another different way. So you're denying this child all this.
Yeah, exactly.
So co-parenting is not just about money.
It's really not.
It is putting that child in the middle, that child having a healthy relationship. Don't forget, as parents, the first example of a relationship is between you and your partner.
Absolutely, yeah. Actually, yeah.
You can imagine now, we are the adults. There is, your child is dropping on. Now, your child came to my house and now he eats too much.
Oh,
I budgeted for 6 yogurts.
And he finished all the 6 yogurts in one day.
Yeah.
And now...
Can you imagine?
Yeah, actually, that's horrible.
And also when they start growing up, they start asking questions. Hey, where's my parent?
Yeah.
Now imagine they'll be like, Mom, you tell your mom and dad are there. There they are. You can go. I haven't. Do you know how much freedom that gives Ethan? How much confidence? Especially he's a man.
Exactly. Do
you know how much confidence?
It's really positive, a really positive thing. But another thing, by the way, that people don't bargain for is being able to explain your co-parenting situation to others around you. Yeah. So for example, when I got married to Zach, his mom is a single mom. And so for her, when she separated from my husband's dad, it was just like, okay, I'm keeping the child and that's it. Exactly.
There's no separation. There's no even document.
There's nothing.
You look at the archive, we are still married to the same man.
Thank you. So now for her, she never used to understand, like, okay, so now you've gotten married to my son. Why then do you need to still be co-parenting with this other person? I mean, even till today, sometimes it's hard to explain to her, like when you go to her house, it's like, oh, why is Ethan not here? And I'm like, oh, he's with his other family. And sometimes by the that can be such a source of pain, because for her, she's just like, are you saying my son is not good enough? So, he's not a dad enough to be able to cover. But being able to just explain, listen, the reality is that I met this child before I met your son. This is the way that it is, you know? And like, the reality is that there are some events that he's there, other events he's not. And we just have to make peace with that. It's difficult, even for now, we've been co-parenting for almost 8 years. It's still difficult for me when we are at an event and he's not there. But I'm like, this is just now the way. These are the consequences of the actions that you were actioning that time.
I don't even think it's consequences. We have to understand. No one enters something wanting it to fail. At that moment, you are in love. The child was a byproduct of your love. And then we disagreed. And do you know how much you're teaching children you co-parent about conflict resolution? Because you are the one teaching them conflict resolution. So they're saying, by the way, mom and dad, it didn't work out. But you know, they're cordial. If you meet your exes, I said, even as an ex, all you have to say is good afternoon, good evening. Yeah. Basic interaction. Basic human interaction. If you're dropping the child, you have rules. But I don't need to drop the child at your gate. I will never pass your gate. I can park my car over there.
Yeah.
And I just make sure the child has safely entered your compound, and I have left.
And that's it, done. Yeah.
And I have left. I also know on the flip side, it's also hard. Like for me, Sean, it's very hard for Sean to understand that his siblings have a different home. I don't know how it is for you, because if they co-parent like that, something has come to my mind. Ethan has the best of both worlds. And is Mukeni, who are just one world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Has that come up?
It definitely comes up, but they're still a little bit young to understand. So Mutana, she doesn't understand at all. But Mukeni, now she's 6, and she now is able to be like, Ethan, where are you going? You're going to your dad's house. Before, we used to just tell her, oh, he's gone. He's gone for the weekend. He's just spending the weekend with other family or whatever. Now she understands. And also, I don't know whether it's like fortunately or unfortunately, now the stepmom's mom lives in our estate.
Bas.
Imagine. So, and by the way, just
works.
pure coincidence, she lives in our estate. So sometimes his brothers will be in our estate, and they'll even come to the house. And now Mukeni and Mutana can see them and what, and it's like explain. Okay, so these are Ethan's brothers, but they are not your brothers.
But no,
so
it's not going to work. They still want to call them brothers because it's one big. They don't know the difference.
That's the thing. And children are so innocent, and I love it. I'm like, us, we don't want to be the ones to ruin it.
Thank you.
So when they come, they'll play whatever.
Eat.
Over time, slowly by slowly. And I see sometimes she asks a question. Like she'll be like, oh, so you and Ethan's dad used to be friends. Oh, then you stopped being friends.
So can you and daddy?
She's like, so can you and daddy one day stop being friends? And I'm like, no, of course I have to tell her to believe in a fairy tale. We can never stop being friends. We are friends forever, okay?
So that means she's thought about it.
She's really thought about it. So now she's just like, she's calculating, okay, so what happened? And then she asked me like, okay, so when you were having Ethan, me, I was in heaven. I was like, yeah, you are in heaven.
Wow.
You had not yet come.
I've not even reached that level.
I was like, yeah, you had not yet come. Then now is when you came, you see. And that's why Ethan has this other dad and what? Yeah. So it's like, it's a whole thing.
I can't believe adults. You were in heaven.
Yeah. I was like, yes, you were in heaven before. Yeah, you were there. You were there before.
They were in heaven waiting.
Yeah, to be born.
Wow.
That's the thing. Kwani, where do you think babies are before they are conceived?
They're in heaven.
That's it, yeah. And let me tell you, I don't condone lying to kids.
Yeah. Well, no,
but you explain in a way,
according to their age.
Exactly.
You see, according to their age. The same thing for me. I don't think it got to Sean's head, because for me now, I'm insisting, okay, go visit your mom for Christmas. I'm the one trying to co-parent. So Sean can't get it because he's never seen it.
Yeah.
And as much as you tell him that they have different mothers, he brushes off. I think men are different from women. He just doesn't want to accept that. That
12,
side.
He understands, I'm sure.
But
I'm
we've
sure
never
he
had the
understands.
conversation.
Oh,
So
really?
I tried to bring it out in him. He doesn't talk about it, and only make a joke. In school, the teachers thought I was a stepmom for a whole year.
Oh my
Very
God.
short schools.
Are you serious?
Because she's now at a teenager, like the way Ethan is. He doesn't want to explain the dynamics. So I'm called Fashionable Stepmom. It's easier to just say she's also my stepmom.
Oh my God.
You see, it's easier to just say she's also
and then
my...
boys,
Yes, they don't
my
want to
God.
explain.
They make a joke about everything. Nothing is so
ever
serious.
so serious.
Like,
so it's easier for him. Now he's 1 and the rest are 5.
yeah.
5 or to 1. Probably it's easier for him to just say, she's also my stepmom.
Yeah. Do they, in the way that they interact, like now Sean with the other kids, obviously the age difference is like huge, but I'm guessing they really dote on him and like love on him and stuff like that.
Oh, he is
the
apples of everyone's eye, which I burst his bubble all the time. and the 6th mom is mad. They'll gang up on the group. She's having mood swings. She's not talking to us. So it's when I look at it and I look at how much more Sean would experience.
Yeah.
See them Ken is experiencing.
Exactly.
It should be wholesome.
It's actually really nice.
And really, to be honest, it's not even about the money, is it?
It's really not. The money, in fact, is more of just like a token. It's not the amount which I'm using to actually spend. No, it's just an acknowledgement of I recognize the work that you're putting in, and this is just to support. In fact, usually when it comes in, honestly,
You see, even a partner aulizi.
That's the thing,
because he's carried everyone in this house as his child.
Exactly. Yeah.
So co-parenting can be done.
Yeah.
Evidence says it can be done.
It absolutely
It can be done.
Yeah.
And I wish there was one. I'll bring stepkids. I'm working on it on this episode.
Bring some
so that we
stepkids.
can find out from them, how does it feel. See, as we're here as adults, we're seeing our side. How does it feel for them? I want to bring a biochild like Sean, obviously when he's older. How does it feel for you?
Yeah. Even stepdads, I'd love to hear
stepdads. I'm looking for one. The funny thing, you'll be shocked with this season. It has delayed because we've tried to get guests and people don't want to. They'll say, I'm not ready to come up and to say I am in a blended family.
Yeah.
So they don't want to accept. So there are many people, even at work or even in their marriages, people don't know that this person had a child. So if they come and they admit, then it
yeah.
But Nairobi, we are all in a blended family, people.
So many of us. I would want to hear, I would love to hear a stepdad's perspective that gives me insight into how my husband experiences my co-parenting. Yeah, because I'm just like, obviously there's the conversations we have of just like, or if something happens and he's not comfortable and we usually have conversations, but I would just want to hear how have they experienced it, in a way which is very honest and raw and, open and
so
stuff like that.
So I'll definitely have a stepdad and I'll have two of them. People don't know that Mike was a stepdad before I came. So I think he has a different perspective.
Yeah.
I will say a woman and a man. A woman spends more time home. A stepdad provides, wakes up, goes to work. Even just by virtue of a daddy or a stepdad, they're not so immersed in it.
I think parenting experience. But it could be, you could find that it's different. I interacted with, there's a lady called Claire who has a Blended Families podcast, and her partner is a stepdad, and he really takes his stepdad role very seriously. I guess because the kids that they're raising are two girls and they are small girls.
Very seriously.
So it's like that one, I'm just like, wow, he's really immersed in it, which is not, like usually that's not the case, I guess, more often than not. But we would just want to hear,
I'd want to hear their perspective. I want to hear. To be honest, for me, I take my role as a stepmom more than seriously than I take my role as a mom.
Seriously?
Very seriously.
Well, I guess because so much more can go wrong.
But also, no, because you look at it and you look at what separation does to children. And so I know that they don't have to be a product of before. Now is when you can talk about separation, you can talk about divorce. Then when I met them, it was
a no-go zone.
It was a no-go zone. You're coming to school, everyone is looking at you. You're coming for whose child? They say, I'm the stepmother. And you have to say, do not say you're the stepmother. It doesn't mean that I'm not, I need to acknowledge there was a mother.
But do you have to announce it all the time? I'm the stepmom, I'm the stepmom, the stepmom. Why can't it just be I'm the mom?
Because now for me it's very different. The age gap is very small.
Oh, right. Okay, fine. So it's just like, no, you can't be the mom.
Sometimes are you the sister? Before they correct us, I'm the older sister. It's okay. I see.
Yeah,
when people say you have to announce, I think you do, because we have to stop the confusion. And step doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's your name.
Yeah.
It's actually, I'm a stepmom. I came knowing I'm one. You see, we give that word step so much power.
Yeah, too much power.
Because why would I'm actually the mom. My kids don't call me their stepmom. But I have to clarify. If I go somewhere, please.
I can't imagine my husband saying, "Oh, I'm Ethan's stepdad." That's not. I've never heard him use those words.
No,
stepdad.
With my kids, I don't say that. With them, it's just mom. But don't forget also, there is pressure from the other family. People forget about the in-laws. You don't know what the pressure when they see the child calling you mom.
Oh.
And then when the other side of family comes, step has to enter.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay, so I guess it depends on the context. Then also the complexities. Because in fact, just because of the age thing, it's just like, it's important that they know.
It's important that they know, because then you're representing who?
Yeah, exactly. You're here as who?
Yeah, when they do the math, they're like, okay, did you give birth at 12?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. My kids don't call me, they don't call me stepmom, but I have to do it. And also for other stepmoms also there, own it. And do a good job about it. Yeah. Do a good job of it. May do a very good job of it. Wow, I think I'm a better stepmom than
people are actual mothers, by the way.
I think so.
Yeah, you do.
But
I
look at my kids and I say they have to succeed. They have to succeed. And also, like I said, I'm the neutral party. To be honest, I don't have history. I don't know where they met, what happened. I actually don't like hearing the story.
Oh,
Because
really?
how sure am I to believe that my husband is a true one?
Yeah, there's really two sides
Two
to all
sides of the
stories.
story.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wacha tunijue tu iliisha
Na ni hivyo.
na niliitwa
Sasa
hapa
mi niko hapa
niliitwa
sasa.
nifanye kazi nitafanya kazi mzuri.
This thing you keep saying ati niliitwa hapa. Maybe he just went and picked you. I want that one. That flower, that one. Let me have this one.
I think niliitwa nifanye kazi.
Really?
There's a voice that spoke to him,
You know, and said that one. That's Catherine.
Unaona ule pale?
That's the one I want.
Na kuna baba mwabewa kuje.
And here you are.
And here I am, 17 years later. My kids are big enough. Now they're adults. Now that's another story on its own. Please enjoy Ethan.
Yeah, while he's still at the
16,
age
17. Now you see all those things won't matter anymore.
Oh, right, yeah.
Now they have their own personality. Actually, you're not telling them to share. They will wake up and decide today, after, Mom, and that's now where it comes, co-parenting happens. How will you know when the kids are playing games? I've gone out with my friend and I've gone to Mom's house or Dad's house. In between there,
Have you? Yeah, you're right.
it's coming.
Yeah,
I don't want
so
to
you
scare
have
you,
to- oh, God.
but it's
You're
coming.
already
We don't
scared
brief.
me.
The brief has to be the same from picked up on the
suppose
other
now
side.
he's already, yeah. So you need to be cross-checking.
Yes.
Oh, Ethan, by the way,
And
I
you
said
know,
that
yeah.
he's coming to your place.
Yes.
Please let me know when he
Yes,
arrives.
and he went out with his friends and he said, Daddy's
coming too?
house is closer than where my friends
Okay,
are.
yeah.
And so in between there, if you're not careful, you're not co-parenting,
are,
manipulation
I
happens.
know.
And kids are very, very smart.
So manipulative.
Very smart.
And they can always see, like, this is where the gap is.
They
This
also,
is where the
as
gap
adults, you
is.
don't know. They see where the gap is.
Yeah, you're
So they
right.
say, and if you don't, okay, how will you know? If you don't speak to the person, say, hi, it's just a message. Hi, Ethan's mom. Ethan came yesterday with his friends. I hope you know that. It wasn't her time, but
Yeah.
he came. He went out and he came. And he's okay. Or Ethan came doing this and this. I think he took some alcohol. He's having a bad hangover. I think talk to him. So what I'll do, I won't let you know, but I'll get a way for you to know the information. Now, this is what you're dealing with. So, tukifanya hii kazi nisaidie. You're pulling on that side, and me, I'm pulling on this side.
Now, you see, that's interesting because also depending on how you guys have structured your communication. For me, I hardly ever, in fact, I had let me say, 99% of the time, I don't communicate with his stepmom. It's always with my ex.
And that's okay.
That's just generally how it is, except like once in a while, like maybe he's being dropped back and she's the one who drops and she's like, oh, hi, thank you for bringing him or whatever. But if it's like during the week kinds of things or like talking about things to do with his schooling or, you know, something to do with him, it's always like it's his dad that I'll usually communicate
now,
with.
he might be a good communicator.
He is actually a very good
So,
communicator and I thank
you.
God for that.
You thank God
yeah.
for that, but if you didn't have, then you need the in-between.
Exactly. And also I like that I have her contact. So the communication line is open and it's just like if I need to get in touch with her, I can. You know,
you
if
don't
you
feel
need to-
restrained.
Exactly. You don't feel restrained or anything like that. You know, whatever. When on her birthday, I can wish her happy birthday.
Thank
she can wish
you.
me a happy birthday.
Yeah.
And it's like it's easy. It's comfortable.
Thank you. We are cordial. You don't have to be best friends.
We don't have to be best
We
friends.
don't have to
That's
be
the
best
thing.
friends. Understand?
You can just be cordial.
We're just cordial.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. Ni mtu tu kama mtu. Hi, how are you? Good morning. Kindly, Ethan requested if he'd come. He's missing his brothers, even though it's not his time. Because those things are coming. Ethan will start being able
Exactly.
to make those decisions. So it's just, I'm not making you to worry.
know.
Don't worry. But it's coming. We're dropping Ethan to the airport. Ethan is going to study abroad. Okay, I'm painting this picture because it's a reality. And we're all here at the airport and we all have to say bye to him. And don't forget, just because I'm a stepmom doesn't mean I'm not invested. I'm actually 10 times more invested than you think. Then anyway,
You're really invested.
you're really
yeah.
invested. So we are going to say to Ethan, goodbye all of us. We are coming. If you're coming in a van,
Yeah,
we're all coming
we're all
in that
going.
van.
We're all
And on that
coming.
day at the airport, we be cordial.
Yeah.
You know, you'll say hi. I'm telling you, you will hug.
Yeah.
You will hug me even
You
if
will
it is
hug.
me who will come because
Yeah.
you're not going to show.
And those are the positive things
Yes.
that now the child is going to remember.
He's going to
It's just
pick.
like, yeah, it's
Even
going to be a positive
himself
story.
in their relationship, he'll be able to see that. Whether he look and say, Mom, you know, my kids even say, hey, Mom and Dad, how? Mom, that was not going to work.
Yeah.
You and Dad are a different personality. Now I see why that one wasn't going to work. You see, they start realizing even them. They're like, Mom, I see, it makes sense. And I just like it that way.
Yeah.
They even say, I can't imagine Mom and Dad. Like my kids say, I don't imagine how.
But so now when they speak about her, what's your response? Is it like, yeah, even me, I can't imagine.
I do not reserve any right to comment or say anything.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay, but you do say something.
I have to say positive things.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to say positive things. But I do not. You see, they can judge their mother. They can talk badly about their mother. I can't.
Yeah,
That's just how the
exactly.
rules are. That's just the rules of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just the rules of
That's
the game.
for a good stepmom, because there are some
That's
stepmoms
just
out
a rule
there
of the
who are
game.
not.
No, that's
Yeah.
the rule of the game. Even when a child goes to say, okay, maybe mommy was tired or she was busy, you know, I don't deserve a right. How think about it? What if someone came and commented about my mother?
Yeah.
It's only me who can talk about the negative parts of my mother. You do not have
You
a
keep
right.
quiet, exactly.
Zip.
Yeah.
So I know when to zip.
Yeah.
But the father, yes, that one they can have their but for me, no.
I think that's a good.
There's no day.
Yeah. Co-parenting also requires a lot of boundaries, really, really healthy boundaries. Yeah. For me, it's always just like anything that happens in this house, I always assume if somebody on that other side asks him, he can probably say or whatever. But on my end, I'm also careful not to create a situation where he feels like he has to come back and report that this is what happened or whatever. But it'll just be like, oh, did you have a good time? Okay, did anything happen? Kind of thing. Yeah, but not like now. Okay, so tell me. So when you were going to bed, who tucked you in? What happened? And then were you told? Did anyone shout at you? Whatever. No, but
really, you trust that
I'd like
where
to
he
think
goes
that, yes,
that he's loved.
Exactly, or that if something happens which he feels is worth communicating,
he definitely has a phone, and we can communicate,
exactly.
And he's free. Just the fact that he's free enough, you're building a child. He's going to be a man who's very secure. He's very secure. He understands it.
I would pray so.
You're the first example of a relationship. So he knows positive relationship boundaries. And especially boys don't go to tell. Boys don't know how to gossip.
Yeah.
Even if you try to retrieve information from them, how was it good?
Yeah, done.
How's good?
So now, yeah. One above.
So in short, ma'am, I'm not giving you the tea that you're looking for. Please,
whatever
madam, the tea that you're looking for, please.
It's not with me.
It's not with me.
Done.
So, yeah, so co-parenting can be done. And I think for us, our parents need to pull up their socks.
Yeah.
But as millennials, Gen Z, can Gen Zs do a better job than us?
I think they can.
Yeah, and how you break the news and handing over. You're handing over. How would
you? Mambo you're handing over.
I didn't have handing over.
I didn't have handing over.
Uliambia Zaka ulisema meet who? When you told Ethan, how did you meet who?
Oh, when I was introducing Zach to Ethan. So that time now we had been dating only for like 1 month or something like that. So on that day, it's like he had invited us to his church. So we just went to his church. Then I was just like, oh, Ethan, this is my friend Zach. Zach, this is Ethan. That's it.
On a handover.
Yeah, I know. That was it. And then now we went to his house. He's like, oh, come to my house for lunch. He cooked for us lunch and what. Then after that, he was just like, he obviously could just see now we are friends. But when now we got engaged, that's when he started calling Zach dad. But I didn't tell him that now you have to call him dad. Yeah, out of his own will, he just started calling him dad. And I was like, oh, great, fantastic. Nanivia too. Yeah, I feel like also God has been really gracious. He's been really kind because I get so many DMs from women who have situations which are so much worse because obviously the nature of the breakup with your ex also determines was it a case of physical abuse, was it a case of like cheating, was it a case of like those kinds of things. Is he now with the person who he was cheating on you with, kind of thing. It's like there are so many
dynamics that is tricky because that is but what about we just say you're the ex, kila mtu akona ex to accept true not to behave.
Wewe unasema hivyo, but sometimes especially if a woman's self-worth has been damaged by that relationship, it can be so difficult because even with the child who looks exactly like that ex,
but that's how it always happens. That's what it always happens.
Baba yako
masikio kama baba yako masikio kama baba yako.
Exactly. It can be difficult.
Tukabona nikumbusha na mando wewe si ndio ulitengeneza hizo masikio.
Exactly.
Please deal with this. Yes.
Yeah. Actually, one thing that I hope for is I would love to see more spaces where women in those situations can be supported, can get the information that they need. I love platforms such as this one, such as yours, where people are able to be like, okay, so there is actually hope beyond this horrible situation that I'm going through right now. And there is hope. I just wish more people could see that, have more access to this information so that it's not like, okay, we have broken up, this is the end of the world. It really isn't.
The moment, listen, too late. I keep on telling Mike, the moment you brought a human being to this earth, that was it. My friend, ilisha hivyo. You have to adult. You must adult. You have to. Sometimes even you have your own unresolved issues with your partner. You have to deal with them separated from your child. Sometimes even when you're parenting them, I'm being a neutral empathy. I see the unresolved issues. I can see. I'm like, So you need to bring them together. So if you're a step parent somewhere, you need to be able to see these things. Now don't be quiet, say them. And call your partner. If someone is not paying child support, I will go to your account and I will pay that child support on your behalf.
Oh wow.
Yes,
We need more
because at the
stepmoms
end
like
of the
that,
day, if you can't raise that one, how can you raise mine? Just know problem is on the way.
That's
if
the
you could
thing.
leave that one and
Yeah,
not
even
raise,
mine
yours is
can
coming.
be left,
So
yeah.
for us, wherever you are, stepdad, stepmom, try and ensure, for lack of a better word, have conditions. If you have a child, are you taking care of them? That's my first question. Are you paying school fees? What are they eating?
Exactly.
Okay. Do they know you exist? When do you see them? So how does this work? Do they come over the holidays? I prepare myself mentally. For me, I was told every day. I said okay, and I still came. Yeah. Don't
Every
worry.
day. Oh my God.
There was no lies. Like you said, there were no lies. But I still came.
Yeah.
I was 23 and very hopeful and positive. Yeah. So whoever who has a partner, make sure your partner is responsible. Make sure your partner does what they do according to their capabilities, because sometimes people are blessed differently. But don't let someone go scot-free.
Yeah.
No way.
But I feel like, do you feel like you're representative of the majority of stepmoms, or
I think I'm a
are you?
representative.
I don't think you are. In fact, if anything, I would say that you are the first of your kind that I have met. But I believe that more women should be able to do it. Also, I do believe that God gives a specific kind of grace
So he
to
does.
people who are stepmoms and stepdads. I said another time on my platform, and I got a lot of flack for it, that when I was a single mom and I was looking for a partner, I told God I really would love to meet a partner who does not have children, because I don't think I have the grace to be a stepmom, because I feel like it requires
wacha nikuulize, ulikuja na mtu
yeah.
Na
Lakini
hutaki
mimi
mtu
sitaki
akulie na
no,
mtu?
because you see, I already know the complexities on my end. I don't want double the complexities.
Because
This
you
is the
already
thing. Yeah,
have the
I'm already here
child.
now, so there's already this other family. Now do I want this family, then our family? No. Plus also, my husband, like anyone who meets him can just tell, he has this very calm, composed disposition, which just makes him, he's just able to adapt to situations very nicely and easily. He's not an overthinker. He's not like a super like intense person. Me, I am. So I can't even imagine myself in a stepmom situation. And I was just like, God, you have not put that particular blessing in me. So let me not then
Be
one. And I'm so glad that my partner didn't. And I'm happy about that.
For me, there was no even. I didn't think. I never thought I would. I didn't want to be a mother. For me, I don't want to be a mother. I was not looking to be married. I was just out in the club.
Here you are, sweetie.
Well, I was just
Alafu
there in the club.
ukapatikana.
Nikapatikana nikasema ndio. So I think for me, maybe I have the grace, but also because I came from a perspective, I don't have any history. I have history with no one. I have no history with the children. I have no history with Mike. I have no history with his ex. So I have a clean slate. So for me, I thought this is a clean slate. It's me who can set our relationship.
Yeah.
So I decided I'll make it a positive one.
Which I love. And hence your platform,
Yes,
Fashionable
yeah,
Stepmom.
And as everyone asks, will you change your name? I can't, because I want a stepmom somewhere to, the name has to remain, because I opened it up for them, and you don't have to hide. You can never hide children.
Yeah, you can't hide
So
children.
where was I going to hide 5 children?
Yeah.
I know even at my
Maybe
wedding,
five,
it was very hard. And maybe one day we'll talk about it, the in-laws. It was very hard for my family to accept at my wedding that my stepkids were my brides and of honor. And they just, most people like.
How old were they then?
Wow.
Were they old enough to be bridesmaids?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
They are 6, 7, 8, 9. No, they have only 1 year different.
Wow. Walikuwa wamejipanga. Walikuwa wamejipanga.
Walikuwa najua kuna kasichana kanakuja kufanya kazi.
Here she is on her podcast.
So today I just want someone, whatever, a woman who is co-parenting or a man, co-parenting can be done.
It can.
And you're doing it.
Absolutely.
And
it is doable.
And like she said, sometimes you pick your heart. You close your eyes on something, you close your ears on some things, and you keep it moving.
That's the thing, yeah.
For the sake of Ethan.
Yeah, and choosing your battles. I guess also it's just like, is this, sometimes it's like, okay, the PRA says he should be home by 7 p.m. So if he arrives at 8:30, am I now going to cause a fuss because of that small thing? Is it going to be like this? And
it's not every day.
Yeah, exactly. Choose the hill that you're going to die on. And all, as you said, should be, we are putting our feelings aside, even me if I'm feeling hurt or whatever, for the sake of the child, because we all want the child to succeed. We all want the same thing.
Kenyans have to accept. Exes have to be there. Why do you, I usually think, do Kenyans think when you meet an adult, you are the first one?
Yeah, that's the...
Please help me clarify. Or maybe...
Yeah, because we like to think of ourselves as really special.
I know as women, we know that you're good. You always say you're number 2.
I'm never,
you're the second. There was him, and then you just 2.
That's us, yeah.
They were just two. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Actually, my one takeaway from this episode is kila mtu akona ex.
Kila mtu
So
akona
if you think
ex.
all of us we have exes. So now,
Wacheni makasiriko.
I know, right?
Makasiriko ni mingi. For
Honestly,
what?
yeah,
The
let's
kids are
calm
just
down.
existing. You remove them from heaven.
That's it.
Please create a home on here,
Exactly.
on earth.
A positive one.
A positive one.
To
But I
rest.
cannot believe, Morugi, that you prayed for someone who doesn't have
Yeah,
children.
honestly. And I don't know why people always assume that if you have kids, you must then be
Want
willing to
someone who
get
has
married to
children.
someone who has kids. No, that's not necessarily the case, guys. It's
No,
not.
I think if you have a partner who has children, it's very tricky. I worked because I didn't have. That's why maybe for Zach it worked. Because he
Exactly.
didn't have.
Because
he doesn't
he
have
didn't
any history.
I think it's different. Yeah,
It's
when you already
very
have children,
different.
it's
Those
a whole
dynamics. Yeah, and then it's not like there are no hard times. I think Murugi, you need to tell them that blended families have their issues, but it's possible.
Definitely. There are seasons, there are complexities, but I feel like if ultimately all the parties involved are willing to be mature and put aside their personal feelings for what is best for the child, more often than not, you'll find that we'll always have common ground. What is best for the child? What makes most sense? And then also just not being malicious. If, for example, I know that we are supposed to do half school fees, and I know that you cannot afford for us to be in Brookhouse, it's
Aye,
unfair
please.
for me
It
to
is
be like,
unfair.
now our fees is 900K, I expect you to be sending me
Kama yeye
450.
alikuwa anatoa 200 and that's the best of their
That's
ability,
it, exactly.
you will top it up.
That's the thing, exactly.
And that's
so
how it
trying not to be
works.
malicious to the other party. Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah, but and then also just taking it a step at a time. Every day may have its own challenges, but as
every
long
day
as
it's all
today,
complexities.
yeah, exactly.
You live
So
by the day.
this month we have gotten by perfect. Next month perfect. If you're two, slowly by slowly. There are seasons where obviously, like now when I was pregnant, there's obviously more. There was a lot of like it was difficult. It was heavy. So it's just like okay, I'm supposed to drop the child there, but Saona, I'm expectant you can come and pick the child.
Yeah, it's easier the other way around.
Exactly. Being
It's
able
easier
to
the
keep
way
having
around.
conversations about like, can
imagine
you do
I
this?
wouldn't
Can I do
mind.
this?
I wouldn't mind.
Really?
It reminds me when I gave birth to Sean and he was a preterm baby and I wasn't able to heal because I went to buy uniform the next day and I stood at Sarit Center and I stood at, Harrier's uniform and, they have a line. So it's all the way, it's last minute.
You couldn't send someone, surely.
I couldn't. Now, you see, that's what I'm saying. Co-parenting would have helped.
Yeah, would have been helpful.
Because I wouldn't have minded just
you
buy
being
uniform.
able to do, yeah,
because now I'm here with stitches. I'm holding myself because
Yeah.
I also can't drop the ball because the other children are looking to see if Sean comes and then I forget about them. Do you see?
Umepitia, madam.
This is
But we are so happy that you have made it.
There was no other way. I've
across.
made it. I've made it across and it can be done. So parents, please take care of your children, own your responsibilities, and children grow.
Exactly.
That's what I can tell you. Children grow.
Absolutely.
Children grow.
Yeah.
And children deserve to be loved by both their parents. Even if introduce a child. There is your mother, your father, you can go. Let the child go and be told go. But don't deny them the opportunity of knowing their biological parent or having a relationship with them. Although you can't force someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can't force someone.
But when
and
they
you
grow old,
shouldn't.
imagine they look for you. Identity is important.
It is.
Identity is very
I
important.
know.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me on your
You're
podcast.
welcome.
I look forward to seeing all those other episodes with maybe a lawyer who will
A
tell us about it, a
stepdad.
stepdad.
Lawyers coming.
stepkids,
In
all
this podcast, there's nothing we're not talking about.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the elephant in the room. We'll talk about money. We'll talk about inheritance. Just sit. Don't panic. Any question you had.
Yeah.
Sasa kama una date mtu ako na mtoto usiogope.
Usiogope, here's where you're
Kama
gonna
ni
get the
mzuri leo ende
information.
mwambie we go.
Exactly.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I wanted to plug. We need to talk about your podcast. Hata kama don't make assumption watu wanajua.
Exactly. Okay, so if you'd like to find me and my content, you can search for me, Murugi Munyi, everywhere on Instagram, YouTube, X, on which other platform is there? TikTok. I also have a podcast, TMI Podcast KE, which you can find on all platforms as well.
Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Watch out for the next one. Yeah, and I'm being schooled here. They need a masterclass.
She'll see you in her next
I'll
episode.
see you in the next one.
Bye.
Oh, bye.